brilliant. Do you wrap it up with something to your Banditos?
Yeah, we usually get the guests to take over and start doing that.
Yeah. All right. You've been listening to the Good Banter podcast with Tom Seagate and Evan Hocking. Thanks, Banditos.
That's Banter.
Banditos, couple of farts, couple of burps.
And the bikie gang, mate.
That is good banter. All right, well, welcome, Timmy Sargent. Where are we, buddy?
We I don't know where the fuck we are. We're
McKinnon.
We're in McKinnon, which was
Classy.
nice and local to ours. We're not at HQ. We're a little somewhere different because we're part of the Patreon, and we've got a couple of very special guests.
Welcome to our Patreon, boys. Thanks for coming along.
Yeah, the Nelson twins have hijacked our Patreon.
What do you mean? Well, you can tell we haven't hijacked anything. What are you talking about?
No, look at this. If you get on the YouTube, we're decked out in Australian hoodies.
Which because we got the Nelson twins with us, and they wear identical tracksuits, which is something I used to do about 16 years ago before I grew up and decided that that's a pretty sad little gimmick to have into your 40s.
I remember your poo brown tracksuit pants and top that you used to wear, Tom.
Yep, no, it was
Just in the back, the poo brown in the
No,
back.
it was all. I remember once it was humiliating. I got off stage and Pommy Johnson was standing backstage. He goes, "Mate, I was standing at the back. Your dick looks like a light switch in those tracksuit pants." I was like, "Thanks, Pom. What'd you think of my new stuff?" He was
the great Pommy Johnson. It's good to give Pommy a mention too.
No, he's a good man.
We say, was it a big light switch or just a little button on the wall?
No, just a little one, unfortunately, because I didn't realise until much later they were ladies. Tracksuit pants. Couldn't find the brown in the men's. So
Should have gone the tuck.
It was very well, there was no room for the penis, and it was really hugged in there, and yeah, it just looked like a little tic tac there, my little dick there. And
you weren't the first person to do that. Our dad would wear mum's tracksuit pants to the pub in Walbundry. He was a trendsetter. Yeah, skinny tracksuit pants with the little zipper on the front, and we would say, "Hey, Dad, that's probably not a good look," and he'd go, "Fuck it, I'm going to go and."
Well, it does make your dick look bigger, but. Yeah, I don't know. It's not great. Not a great look. You can really tell. They're females.
It's like the women's undies. You ever worn your missus' undies?
No.
Every now and then, I don't know why I do it. I put the lipstick on and really get into it. Yeah, just look in the mirror, take some selfies, and
yeah, nice one.
Check out my OnlyFans. Yeah,
I wouldn't fit into my wife's undies. I don't think.
No, she's very small, isn't she?
She is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
just keep your mouth shut, Justin. Don't say.
I know.
Oh, well, she might have a bulge at the front. She's tight. So.
Yeah. Good work. So, well.
Firstly, on the Patreon, I want a huge shout out to a couple of Bantitos Patreon members, Mickey Elston from Devon Meadows and my brother Heath Hocking, old Budsy, because we just put an episode out. Whenever you listen to this, we put it out today, and we were meant to bleep out because you were running through your West Australian nightmare debacle.
Just an update. These boys, a lady, I was booked for this Friday to do a gig, and I changed all my flights around, was heading over to WA this Friday, and a week out, been booked in for over 6 months, and she just messaged me casually a couple of days ago saying, "Oh, I've double booked the venue, sorry, we won't be able to go ahead, I'll have to cancel. Sorry about that." And no fucking dramas. So we pretty much spent the last hour of Patreon just paying the fucking shit out of this lady, and we went.
No, it wasn't even the Patreon; it was the regular app.
It was too.
It was a regular app, mate.
Yeah. So but I said fuck, because what we said, I won't say her name. Let's just
won't mention the club, won't mention her name.
And we kept slipping it out.
So I go, the first one I think was about 32 minutes in. I said, I better bleep that out. And then there were 3 more after that. But I got a message from Mickey Elston on the Good Banter Patreon. He said, boys, I think you might have missed one early on at about 27 minutes. So I've quickly ripped down the episode. I've gone back in and edited it and put it back up. And so to Heatho and Mickey, Elston. Thanks for mentioning that. Obviously, all the other listeners didn't give a fuck that we...
No.
And knowing you, Tom, you didn't get a deposit.
Yeah, funnily enough, no deposit. So I've been completely fucking reamed there, and I was when I got the message, I was in a taxi, I was fucking emotional, I was fucking had about 100 beers, and it came up beep beep beep, and I said fuck, and I wrote back to her and I said, mate, this isn't fucking good enough, but. Good segue, because that's the first episode we've had to rip down since my infamous Papua New Guinea episode, which came down very fucking quick. And you boys have, because I did so well. They asked if I thought to give them some names for other people that could go over, and I said, well. The Nelson fags are struggling for gigs, so they'd love this joint.
We want to get them out of the country.
Yeah. So why don't you give them a shot? And they did, and you boys absolutely fucking loved it.
Loved it. Absolutely loved it.
But you agree with me? Like, I use the term shithole.
We will agree with nothing that you say on this podcast about PNG, Tom.
Oh, yeah.
In all seriousness, we absolutely loved the trip. Yeah, we're only there 2 days. Flew into Port Moresby, caught another flight to Lae. The people were great. The scenery is absolutely amazing. Couple of bumpy roads, but
Did
other
they
than
tell
that,
you the history of that road from the airport to Lae? About
not that I can remember.
How the Australian government gave them $50 million, and
$50 million?
it was.
I guess it's a big road.
Well, everyone's trying to buy the country, so the Chinese don't fucking do it. So they just keep giving them. It's about 60 k's or something, that road, isn't it? And and they got 10 million and said we're out of cash, and they're like, what
Where's
about the other 40 mil? And they'll go, I think we've lost it. And so that's why that road is paved for about the first fucking 15 metres, and then it's potholes the whole way.
And the airport itself was built by the Japanese, I think.
Yep.
They came in and built the new airport there.
Which is still not was it being used?
Yes, yep.
Oh, okay.
Did you fly into the old airport at Lae, did you?
Oh, yeah, because I was in this fucking chicken coop, and then and we drove past this thing that looks like one of the Twin Towers. I was like, what's that? And they go, that's the airport they're not using because someone didn't want to pay for a fucking sign or something.
Well, mate,
put out the front.
when they knew we were coming, they hurried things along, had the new terminal already, and we flew into a state-of-the-art airport.
Yeah.
1 week ago.
International airport.
International, yeah. They don't actually have any international flights out of there, but it is an international airport.
Because I was so picking up your bags there. What was that? Because ours was just they basically put it in a trailer, just left it out on the runway, and they shot a fucking starting pistol, and it was basically whoever could get their suitcase first. It was just every man for himself.
Carousel, carousel.
But we only had hand luggage, didn't we?
Yeah.
So we went with hand luggage.
What'd you do with all your stubby holders? Did you take them over?
Yeah,
we did.
Always pack a bit of merch in the hand luggage.
Great.
Yeah, we packed some merch, some clothes, and Jimmy Cassidy, the jockey. We had him in the hand luggage.
Little pumper.
As well. Little
Nice
pumper.
one. Did you bring your no filming signs? Just so. There's a thing that I run a few gigs, and even I run gigs for the Twins. And could you a lot of people film you blokes because they've never seen Twins before, and they think this is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And so Juzzo, every gig I do, he's like, have you got those no filming signs? I said, I fucking burnt them after the last gig, you dickhead.
Yeah, I think it's a bit optimistic of the boys thinking someone's going to film their shit. But
the only person we want to film at our show is Netflix, and they haven't contacted us yet.
No, they're not replying to the emails. Yeah. So was anyone filming over in Papua New Guinea?
They did an announcement before the show not to film, and I think about 30 people in the audience were filming the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
But we had such a great time. I didn't listen to your episode, Tom, talking about it, but we just found the hospitality from
it was unbelievable.
The Australians, from the locals, was incredible. The locals over there have such a great understanding of Australian culture, Australian language too, because they work with the Aussies over there. I think Lae, the town we were in, has 1,000 Australians, or about 1,000. We went to a pub that was owned by an Australian, and you couldn't get any more Aussie. It's got 70 old Australian poker machines in there.
No shit.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the
Is
place
it Glenn Maitland?
in Lae.
Is it Glenn Maitland?
No, the pub was owned by a guy called Steady Eddie. Yeah, not the Steady Eddie, but
Just
a
rolls
different
out in
Steady
his
Eddie.
wheelchair.
Yeah, he owned the pub, took us in there. It's all barred up. They obviously have a few security issues from time to time, so there's big screen doors and bars and everything.
And
But,
we have to be honest, Tommy. One of the first questions we got when we got over there was, "Do you know the comedian who shit canned our country?"
Okay.
yeah,
after
and we
the
pretended that we didn't know you.
We've heard of him. Yeah, he's a bit of a cunt.
Yeah, he said he was from Wodonga. Where are you guys from? We're from Wodonga.
Did anyone ask? Seriously?
Yeah,
Couple of
a few
people asked.
Yeah.
And did they word it that shit canned our country?
Yeah, they said the comedian got into a bit of trouble.
I'm fucking never going back.
Yeah.
Because they've actually said that I can do the one in Port Moresby, but
No, we're already locked into that. So.
Yeah, we said Tom is a fuckwit.
Yeah.
But there
book
is
him.
fucking no chance I'm going back there. Even that 1% chance they just get me over there just to fucking lynch me.
Yeah. Well, do you know the one thing that blew my mind about Papua New Guinea was the amount of people that have a license to carry a gun. Yeah. So, especially the foreigners, they have a 9mm pistol tucked in their belt.
Yeah, I asked Steady in the pub the first night we met him. I said, "What's it like over here? Is it safe?" And he didn't even say a word. He just pulled up his shirt and his 9mm tucked in his belt. Yeah.
Like fucking 2-pack.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
incredible
she's,
place. Incredible.
Yeah,
And-
they still. I've been told they still have a lot of time for the Aussies because of what happened during the war, but like they hate the Chinese and a lot of the other countries that are trying to get in there.
Yeah, well, it's been a country. You can go out into some of those regional areas, and it's full on tribal, and they haven't had any association with the Western world. So it really, that's the main reason. I just don't think that they've had much to do with people from other countries.
No,
Yeah.
well, you can't physically drive from Port Moresby to Leyte. There's no.
No,
There's
well,
no
that's
road.
I asked that. There's no road because when we were there, we nearly got stuck there. We nearly got stuck in Papua New Guinea. The government was having issues with the one company that supplies the aeroplane fuel, and it was looking like we were going to get stuck in Port Moresby. And I said, stuck in Ley. And I said, well, can we just drive to Port Moresby? They said, no, there's no road.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Did you go to the pub that was part of the resort?
Yeah.
Afterwards? That was rocking the night I was there because they had military, they had like religious groups that are going around trying to, almost like Mormons.
The Catholic Church is a 25 or a 50% owner of the pub. Yeah, now that's branching out with your religion, isn't it? Yeah. We need to make some money. We already don't pay any tax. What can we invest in? What about hotels?
Yeah.
Maybe that's the last resort. Once a priest has touched 15 kids, he starts pulling beers at the Ley pub. Yeah, sorry, Father Dennis, you've gone too far, mate. It's time to learn how to make a cocksucking cowboy. But so you guys, because let's go back to the start, because you guys booked me, Troy, and Thornton for a gig at a cricket club many moons ago.
For $300, like you were selling your show
$300,
for.
$100 each. We paid you,
It would have been,
and your fee hasn't gone up since.
No,
we're still paying you.
no,
now.
it hasn't. Now we're collecting GST now. That's the only difference.
But yeah, you are responsible for our comedy career, Tom. Our inspiration.
Keep
Fuck
that on
you,
the-
Tom.
Keep
Yeah.
that on the down low as well.
Yeah, you're responsible
Prouder
for
of
the
the shit I
last.
said about Papua New Guinea than that. So it was you're playing at a cricket club in Albury.
Wodonga Raiders.
Oh, was it
Club.
Wodonga Raiders? Because I remember the gig was on the border.
Yep, three monkeys.
Yeah, three
Cabin.
monkeys. We went
Remember it
over.
well.
I remember I copped it up the arse. I had a fucking stinker. And
Was it
and you guys
were you wearing
very,
the tracksuit back then?
Yeah.
yeah, might have been.
Well, that's what inspired us. We
No
saw
one
you
was
do it,
digging
and
your
you were
light
so
switch.
you were so shit. We thought, man, this can't.
I can do that.
This can't be too hard.
This guy can charge $100. One day we'll be able to charge $200 and divide it by 2.
Yeah. So
And,
yes, you were our
Yeah,
inspiration.
so you guys were very interested. You're asking a lot of questions, probably too many questions, and you could tell that you guys obviously you were keen to do something. And a couple of years later, you had your first gig at the Comics Lounge,
Which
didn't
you organised
I
for us,
organised
Tommy.
that, and I
Yep.
regretted quickly.
Yes, yeah,
because because the red light was flashing at the back, and instead of saying, "Okay, red light, that must mean get off," you guys just stood there going, "What's that red light? What's that red light? Hey, stop flashing that red light! What's that red light?"
I think they turned the microphones off too.
Yeah. So back in those days, you had to do 8 minutes. At first gig, we had to do 8 minutes.
Yep.
But I thought they
That's
meant
4
8
minutes each.
No, well, I thought they meant 8 minutes each. So
Ah,
that's what
right.
I'm saying.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Chris
But-
thought the red light meant there was a hooker up the back.
Wow. Yeah.
I was surprised he didn't run off stage.
Yeah. Why are you targeting me with this stuff?
Oh, I know you.
Yeah, so, and the rest is history. So,
Yeah.
The rest is history.
Yeah. That first gig actually went okay because we invited all our mates and it went all right. And then I remember the thing that sticks out in my mind the most is our second performance, Chris, where we went to the Gun Island Hotel in St Kilda and Dave Thornton was MC.
Yep.
And someone yelled out halfway through our set, "Bring the MC back on."
in your second gig.
In our second gig.
I remember that day.
Yeah.
Because you guys were the, were you the Logans?
Yeah, so a little bit of, you're going
Bit
a
of
long
Nelson
way.
Twins trivia.
Yeah. So there was the Logan twins from, what was the name of that show?
Big Brother.
Big Brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good to latch onto them because they always have long-running careers. So good to
Yeah,
name
I started
yourself
off-
after them.
My stage name was Sarah Marie when I first just started doing a bum dance. I go, this is fuckwit.
Well, where did you start it all, Evan? Because I can't remember where we crossed paths.
I wouldn't say he's really started.
Yeah, I'm still. I haven't started yet. One day I'll maybe fluke it. Oh, I reckon maybe early 2013.
Yeah.
2013.
Yeah.
My actually first proper gig was I sort of 07. I did some gigs, just open mics, but then moved to Port Douglas and then came back 2013. I reckon.
Yep.
That's when. Maybe late 2012.
You were Spider-Man in between then as
I
well.
was Spider-Man. I was a superhero. So, I had crime to fight and baddies to catch. But came back and, I started organising some footy club gigs. I think I booked Tommy, booked you boys early, maybe.
Well, I think the interesting thing with Tommy, even though we got him down to our cricket club, is that we didn't actually know each other. We grew up in Wodonga and
we're into, I hate cricket, but very,
Football.
very much into our local footy.
Yep.
Guys playing obviously a much higher level. Because there aren't that many people, comedians, doing the rounds that are into local footy and have played local footy. Like it would be us four.
And who else played?
Because one thing I think about, I think about quite a bit because I got asked, or you guys asked me recently, is could you do the Suburban Footballer show at an AFL function? And it just fucking doesn't work. Like just because you're into AFL, it's a completely different thing. So just because a comedian's into AFL, playing local footy is a completely different kettle of fish. So it was us four, and fucking that'd be it. I
If
reckon.
anyone else has really
Yeah, that actually
played.
played
Did
past the age.
Cody played to under 18s or
You
something?
don't count that.
No.
If you stop playing at 18, that's not really.
Oh no. Yeah, that's when you work out. Yeah,
And-
I'm no good at football.
And what a journey we had too, boys. Us
Oh.
four comedic footballers going out on the road.
Oh yeah, fuck! I forgot about that.
So when did that idea come about,
Who-
Jazzo? Was
so
it?
that's the
was
we're
it when
talking
you-
about the footy comedy package that we did for
Yeah.
two years maybe until all our bodies just fell apart.
Well, I think that they'd fallen apart well before the. I think Jazzo thought we'll try and take the soul out of some of these clubs by sending you four footballers who couldn't really play anymore.
Yeah, but to be fair though, we won most of the games.
We did.
with the exception of
Absolutely.
Nunawading.
Which was the one game I didn't play, coincidentally.
Well, run us through how that came, because I reckon it was we played in 2015. We played.
Surely it was before then.
Nah, 2000.
What were
I
we
was still
charging?
playing. I was still playing.
Fucking not enough.
I was still playing football in 2014.
Ah, okay, yeah.
And
Yeah.
after 2014, I realised the body's fucked. And then Juzzo goes, "I've got a fucking great idea, mate. Let's go to country clubs and play football."
For $12 more than we would have got paid just to do the gig. We wanted to run around and fucking nearly kill yourself for 2 hours. Yeah, sounds like a great idea.
Well, what injuries did we have from that? Because I did my knee, ACL, had to get a knee reconstruction after one of those games, so that cost me a fortune. I think we were playing up in Bega. I was probably making $500 for the day, and
We
I've
flew
done my
though. We
knee.
flew.
Did we fly up? Did
Yeah.
we?
Did fly.
Did we?
Yeah,
Yeah, we flew into Bega.
Fucking hell.
yeah. I bruised some ribs one game.
Oh,
You
yeah.
had your
Your
teeth
tooth
knocked
knocked
out.
out.
The Nunawading, teeth are not the things that I need to be,
No.
So Nunawading, like we lost by 40 goals
Yeah.
or something. And one of my mates, I played footy with him in 2012 at Mooroolbark, and we're getting towed. And he goes, geez, you want to be getting paid a bit for this, mate? I said, we're doing this for free.
We did that one for free, didn't we?
did that
The
for
club was-
free. So I've got my teeth knocked out, and then we do the gig that night, and they've had a reserves premiership reunion during the day. There's 30 blokes who are fuck-eyed, and one bloke goes, and I've written a joke about it, but he just goes, while I'm on, he goes, mate, come outside and you can suck my cock or something. Okay, I'm not...
I remember I spoke to you.
I went outside, yeah.
I spoke to you after that gig, and you I've never spoken to a lower. Like, you were low as shark shit. That was definitely going to be the last one. You couldn't convince him to do it again after that. That was fucked.
I was
But
missing
Bega was
half
a
me
big
crack
win because
too.
they hadn't won. Remember, they got beaten by like 120 points by that team last time they played, and then enter us for them. We won by about 100 points.
Yeah.
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 We found out the owner of the cheese company was a pedo or something.
Yeah,
The Bega.
Yeah,
Bega
it was
factory.
Bega. Yeah, so
Yeah.
they said just don't mention. I remember before we got on stage, they said, just don't mention, the owner of Bega being a pedophile. And we're like, we didn't even know he was a pedophile. But
But
they
mention it on any podcast you do in later years, yeah.
yeah.
I was in agony, so I can't remember what
Yeah,
was
you'd
going
done
on.
your knee.
I'd done my knee. It had swollen
Yeah.
right
And
up.
I had a concussion.
Yeah, right.
Was your knee? That was a contact injury without the contact, wasn't it?
I can't even. The place. It was an old showgrounds, I think,
Yeah, you
and there
might
were
have
tripped
potholes
over
everywhere. I
horse
think the
shit.
rabbits had been living there. I must have hit a pothole, I think.
Yeah.
That was a low standard of footy. Like, if the ball goes out, the closest person would throw it in.
Yeah.
And there was a guy, and this is, just painting the picture, with legitimate intellectual disability playing in the twos, and not like as a Make-A-Wish or anything. He got selected. And he was, remember him? I remember at the pub, and I was fucking couldn't find me, everyone had eaten except for me, and I said, where's me fucking burger? And I was whinging. Remember we looked at the bar, and that guy was sitting
he
at
was
the
eating
bar
your burger.
eating me fucking burger, the guy with the intellectual disability. I was like, fucking hell.
Well, he felt like you were pretty closely connected. It goes to men.
Yeah.
I think what they said is the mentally disabled guy ordered the burger, and they.
I assumed it was. That might have been it, yeah.
You still had some hair back then, Timmy. You were quite wispy, but
Yeah,
it was.
it's a
I
little
remember
wispy.
some photos there. You were hanging on.
And that accommodation. Remember how fucking cold it was? in
Yeah.
there? Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. So we did. I remember the first practice game though, that because you boys didn't play in that. We played for Lang Warren in the twos, which was a pretty not
a
bad
decent
standard of footy.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
played
yeah.
out at Somerville, and we turned up. We thought, oh yeah, this is gonna be huge. And a few blokes go, do you guys actually play football? We go, yeah, we play football. We're not just sending some dickhead comedians.
And everyone was dirty at us. And we went in for the pre-game huddle. And it's the last practice match before the season starts. And the captain brought everyone in. And we were part of the huddle. And he goes, boys, we might have a couple of fucking comedians here, but doesn't mean we're going to fuck around. This is serious, all right? And we're just sitting there.
Jesus.
Like they hated us. But then we
Yeah.
got a couple of kicks.
We got a
and,
couple of kicks.
Remember, we went to Darwin, Palmerston. We played a practice
yes.
game,
Well, we played a quarter.
and that's pretty good standard of footy. And from memory, they didn't give us much game time, though, did they?
I sat on the bench for all bar
three
2
quarters,
minutes, I think.
yeah.
I only got a couple of minutes at the
Oh,
end of
really?
the game, yeah.
Yeah.
Someone got crunched. Did you get crunched, Tommy?
No, I got crunched.
You got
He
crunched.
got crunched getting it out to me. I was fine once he got it out to me.
Yeah.
I took a couple of bounces, hit the forward on the chest, and everyone was congratulating me. And you had your face had been driven into the fucking
Mate, it was one of those rock hard bloody pitches. Anyway, so Seager's hanging out on the wing, and I go, all right, Hocko's got to make a difference here. I'm a hard ball get guy from, way back, and put my head over it, and I just got poleaxed. I've landed on me fucking ass, and then I've handballed it out to Seagate. I'm just, coughed up a rib and bloody a lung and whatever, and Seagate's just in the limelight, hit the full forward, taking all the glory. Looked back
felt good.
I read me last rights.
I was on a little Indigenous kid. I reckon he was about 14. He had about fucking 80 possessions on me. Fuck, they were quick.
Yeah, they were quick.
Very quick.
And conditions just so humid, which probably don't suit you, Hocko, that heat. And
Oh, mate, I played up in Cairns,
Well, this
so
is
I'm
true.
probably more suited to it than you boys.
I think it was more a reference to your skin colour. Mate.
yes, yeah. Did you ever wear a hat when you played footy?
Oh, yeah, the old Jimmy Steins Legionnaires hat.
Yeah.
Remember when he played up in Brisbane and someone ripped it off him?
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I never wore the hat, but I was zinced up and sunscreened up. It was I had quite a good tan, boys, for a sauce head. Yeah. So, but I think at the lead up to the Darwin game, we didn't have a great lead up because we'd done a gig in Darwin on the Thursday. We drove down to Katherine and probably had a few beers there, and then came back.
Yeah, we did the
Play that
rugby union club at Katherine, I just remember it was one of those establishments that had all the TVs with the football on it, and we were doing the comedy night there, and when we asked the manager to flick the TVs off, he was like, mate, I can't flick the TVs off. There'll be a riot in here if I flick the tellies off.
Yeah, they weren't real well attended, our gigs on that tour.
No.
The Friday night wasn't too bad.
We've done worse.
Which one was that?
It was at an actual comedy club, Darwin Comedy Club.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
The Friday night there was still a few in, but
Yeah,
the Saturday night, was it Elwyn Davey who was coaching?
Yeah, he did.
Correct, yeah.
He wasn't at the gig.
No. But we've done worse. We did a tour of Tasmania. We did 3 gigs in Tasmania once, and total, I reckon we had about 30 people.
Yeah, 60 heads though. So.
Yeah.
And that's half the population too, so there's not many down there.
No, we call that the Tits Up Tassie tour.
So
Who'd
was
you
it
do that with?
just the two of you?
No, we were on the road with a couple other people, and I won't mention the establishment. It was all prepaid, so it didn't matter how many people came in. And I think the promoter just assumed that people were going to turn up, and so therefore the promoter did no promotion. And one of the gigs was at a nightclub in Hobart, I think, and we had about 8 people. Yeah, it was a disaster, and it was for a charity too. So at the end of the tour, I think the charity lost about $15,000.
They just had to. They were hoping to get the kid a new heart, but they had to turn his machine off after you boys had done.
People died. I'm sure, from the lack of money that we made on that tour.
That's the concern about the Tassie footy team. They don't fucking turn up. Tasmanians don't turn up. Like, remember they tried to organise that comedy festival down there, and I'm not sure how well it was organised, but fucking no one turned up. They
There was too much on. Yeah, Franklin teed that up, and you had about 900 acts.
Yes, it's a
crazy.
small place.
Yeah. But so one story I love, and we can cut it out if you don't like telling it. I love to hear the story about when you boys got heckled at the Backpackers.
Ah, right, yeah. No, we don't have to cut it out. You can put it on your Patreon. So you want me to just take it from where you left it off, the time we got heckled at a Backpackers?
Yeah. So it's a midweek gig. So
Midweek
we're in there
gig,
trying-
15 years ago, 16 years ago, we're early on in our comedy career.
We were hosting the
Justin
show.
and I were hosting
Oh,
the
okay,
show.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
MIB, Melbourne International Backpackers, which has since been bulldozed. So I don't know if that was
because of
anything
that
to do
gig,
with that gig. So Justin and I are hosting. It's notorious for having people from all over the world being a Backpackers, a big Irish crowd.
Free entry?
Free entry, so you're not
No
invested.
commitment, yeah.
You're coming down from your room, you're hitting the bar. Oh, there's comedy on. And this particular night, there were some Irish guys in there. There was some security. There was one Swedish guy, I think, on security. I don't know how good a job he was doing. But
He's giving everyone Swedish massages.
Yeah,
so he's doing the wrong thing, mate. You're meant to be kicking him out.
Yeah, that's right. I don't think there was any responsible service of alcohol going on because this one particular Irish guy, 19, 20 years of age,
Skinny
dude,
Yep.
he'd had a few, and he starts heckling Justin and I. Of course, we're early on into our career. We don't handle it as well as probably what we do
could've,
now.
yeah.
And all of a sudden, he just starts dancing his way up to the stage and we thought, what's going on here? Next minute, both hands out, and Justin and I stand on the stage, and he just slaps us both in the balls. One arm into...
And it wasn't soft,
No,
was it?
no.
It was,
And it's slapping the balls.
Your
Yeah.
cock?
Slapping the balls.
The cock or his slap?
Got it all.
got it all.
Yeah, got it all.
So he held for a couple of seconds?
Yeah, yeah. It was almost like a little bit of a wrench as well.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah,
Ooh.
yeah. And without even battering an eyelid, I just slotted him one. And
Did you warn him?
No,
Well, I'll
no.
tell
well,
everyone you warned him.
well,
Maybe we'll add that bit in that you warned him.
if
Yeah,
you've been,
you warned him first.
that's-
You warned him first, yeah.
Probably the
Said,
difference
"Mate."
between defence and assault.
Well, I mean,
I'm getting an
Sure.
erection here, mate. I'm telling you.
surely when you've been sexually assaulted at a comedy gig,
Yeah,
you don't
yeah,
need to
yeah.
warn someone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I let him have it.
So
And
what's old Pepe, the fucking security guard, doing at this stage?
well, I'll get to that in a minute. So
He ripped
I've,
his badge off.
yeah, yeah.
So I don't
I've
know.
let this guy have it. Right punch straight into the eye. Opened him up like a tin of baked beans.
Yeah, nice.
And he sprawled back over the tables. He was gone. He
Yep.
was out like a light. He,
One punch?
one punch.
Yep.
That was it. Yeah. And next minute, there's some people coming over to help lift him up off the ground, and obviously word gets around a
Were
little
you getting
bit.
the red light? You gone over time?
Well, I've gone over time a little bit. I think we still tried to keep going.
Well-
you don't want to let something like that, such
yeah,
a small
it kinda,
incident.
It stopped the show.
Did it really?
It
I
did.
can't remember.
Well,
you sort of think it
I
would.
assume it would be a bit of a hurdle to... people probably noticed it, I'm thinking, if you're watching.
Yeah,
Did
I
MC
remember
just
saying,
lay
I
out
think,
an Irish backpacker, or did I...
Yeah,
did I
yeah.
miss
And I'm
something?
like, it's part of the show. It's part of the show.
Do you still do that bit, or is that...
No.
Yeah, people are going,
Yeah.
that's a plan.
Yeah,
That's
it's
a plan.
never the same. You try and do it again. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that one security guy, Swedish guy, wherever he was from, he might have been Russian, I can't remember. He's got on the walkie-talkie, and because the Irish guy, once he'd come to, obviously word had filtered through, the Irish had decided to band together a little bit.
Yep.
And
As they do.
there was a bit of a crowd congregating there, but all of a sudden all these little cars, security cars turn up, people jump out, and it was all over. And once the security got in between us and the big Irish contingent, I was like, yeah, do you want it again? Do you want it again? I'll give it to you. Yeah, so that was the story.
and then they escorted us to our cars.
Yeah,
Nice. Get
Yeah.
your own escort.
Yeah,
we got an escort. Yeah. So it's not one of those moments I'm proud of, but also sometimes you have to defend yourself when someone's punched you, grabbed you,
Yeah, yeah.
It
squirrel
was an
gripped you.
instinctual action.
It was,
wasn't
yeah.
I just don't know why you, as a crowd member, you'd be thinking about grabbing, especially you two blokes. Why do you want to
I
grab
know.
you
I mean, you're in a
blokes on the
backpackers. There's better people to grab, isn't
Oh
there?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Sexually assault a
And
woman.
so did anyone... Probably cut that bit. Can you make a time note of that one?
Well, I'm mucking round. yeah.
So, were there any complaints?
So there was a complaint. The backpacker had gone back to Ireland and obviously gone to talk to a lawyer.
Yep.
And probably told the lawyer half the story, which was, I was just at a comedy show and I got punched. And he drafted a formal letter and sent it to the business, to the office of the backpackers, asking for X amount of dollars, saying we're going to sue and whatnot. And the backpackers replied, yes, but
We're
have
going to
you...
bulldoze the joint.
Yeah, we're going to bulldoze the joint. But the guy in the office has said, but have you mentioned the fact that you sexually abused the comedians? And then they never heard boo from him again. So that was
we
it.
could track
yeah.
him down.
Well, yeah, mate, a reunion.
Yeah.
A
Get
reunion
him
of
on the
sorts.
pod.
Yeah.
But we've never done a gig in Ireland.
He's waiting.
Yeah.
I wonder if he was sitting... Because you were on UK's Got Talent?
Yes, we did.
Britain's Got
Britain's
Talent.
Got Talent.
I wonder
Yeah.
if he was sitting there with he's now married with kids and, he's married man and just a good family man, sitting there with his family watching that TV, and then you boys came on.
Just triggered him.
Yeah, his
Yeah.
head split open again. And fucking,
Yeah.
oh, fuck.
Yeah, he's just hit the booze.
Not hitting his missus, hitting his kids.
Yeah.
He's just completely fucked his life up.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
How'd the Britain's Got Talent? How'd that come around? They said, you did Australia's Got Talent.
We did Australia's Got Talent
18 years ago.
18 years ago.
Yeah, that's the.
Thanks for reminding us.
No
Yeah.
worries. What year was it? 06?
12.
12.
12.
Jeez,
Yeah.
yeah.
We started in 06.
Yeah.
Australia's Got Talent in
Yeah.
12, yeah.
I thought it was more recent because I watched it the other day and you still do the same jokes. I thought that's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke, guys. You're prolific writers. You're prolific writers. No, just kidding. But
I think you've still got a couple of oldies there in the repertoire, haven't you, Tommy?
Yeah.
The key is write your jokes, and you guys stick by this. Write your jokes about dicks, balls, and tits, and
Yeah.
you can tell them forever. Because
Yeah.
you start writing bloody topical political shit, it has a shelf life.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only one joke I've ever written, I reckon, and it was back when I only had about 7 minutes of material. It was about Denzel Washington playing the part of someone. What's that movie? Where he couldn't move and he was in a
Bone Collector, was
The
it?
Bone Collector.
I reckon that was it.
Angelina Jolie.
Yep.
Yep.
And I used to do a joke about what a prick Denzel was because that's the only role that Christopher Reeves could have played. And but fuck, it's his one role he could have gotten. Denzel took it off him, and
Yeah.
Christopher Reeves was like, "Oh, fucking, that's the one job I could have got." And then I remember I turned up to the Comics Lounge one night, one of my first nights at Lounge. I was all pumped. It was like a Tuesday, and that was one of my might have been my closer. And someone goes, "Oh, did you hear Denzel died today?" I mean, fucking
Christopher Reeves.
Christopher Reeves died today.
Yeah.
I was like, "Fucking hell!"
He-
And so I
He's
had
definitely not going to get the role.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I couldn't do that joke, and I reckon that's the only joke that's been that.
Yeah. And it
Your
wouldn't
9/11 one, you sort of stopped telling that.
I could still. That was more about. It was hurting a lot of people.
And a lot of people now wouldn't know who Christopher Reeves was.
No.
Obviously, famous Superman
Yeah.
back in the 70s, maybe 80s.
Who fell off a horse?
Fell off a
and,
horse.
became a para.
Quad.
Quadra.
I don't know which one it is.
But he couldn't move.
He couldn't fly anymore.
No,
No,
he lost all
no.
his powers. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
You did. Yeah. Yeah. Well, run us through. How do you get on Australia's Got Talent? Like that is something like it's you have a bit of a laugh and a joke, but it's TV.
And they did very well.
You did very well.
We did.
Thank you.
Thank you
Yeah,
very
no
much.
worries,
we
guys.
like to
Yeah.
we'll build you up and
Yeah, I was waiting
Get
for
ready.
the joke there at the end of it, but it never came.
No. That's coming in about 3 minutes.
Yeah. Well, I think they got in contact with
Yeah,
us.
they cast the net pretty wide because the year
Clearly.
before, they had some success with a comedian called the Old Fella,
Ah.
and so they decided it was a good formula for their show, and they actually cast the net pretty wide in Melbourne, and
he did very well off it, didn't
he
he?
did.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was just telling jokes. He's
Joke jokes.
like joke jokes.
Internet
Yeah.
jokes.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah, so the next year we auditioned, which wasn't really an audition, was it? It was kind of just come and do what
You're
you do,
in.
and
You're already in.
Yeah, wow.
and
It's like
away
you-
we went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your first one was a ripper because you wrote a couple of jokes about Danny Minogue.
Yeah,
Did you?
geez, I can't remember now. Yeah, and you could get away with a little bit more on TV in 2012 than what you can now. I can't remember if we made any jokes about Danny Minogue, but what I do remember is that it was supposed to be maybe 1 or 2 preliminary rounds of final, and then they just kept adding in all these shows. I don't know how many spots we did. They're
We
like,
ended up
we're
doing
going to have a
4.
decider, we're going to have an eliminator. It's like, far out, jeez.
We need more jokes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And so that was 2012. And for years after that, you'd always get a phone call every year from America's Got Talent, Britain's Got Talent, then the Champions spin-offs, and we just kept putting it off and putting it off. They never had a great deal of money. You'd always get offered your flights and maybe a couple of dollars here and there, but especially with America, we would always want to go over and do a week or two in the comedy clubs beforehand so that we could work out a routine, and they'd never be forthcoming with money for that. It's like, well, we're going to have to do this and pay off our own bat. So anyway, it must have been 2017 or 18, we went over to do Britain's Got Talent, the Champions, and that was quick. It was one preliminary round and a final if you made it. They had a few dollars. I can't remember how we worked around that.
And they let us go early, though.
Yeah.
They let us go a week early so we could get in the clubs over there and
Oh, okay.
work out
Yeah,
our set.
and work our set
in
out.
London.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And then, as is the case with all those shows a lawyer then goes through all of the words and all of your
And
themes.
you sign your rights away.
Yeah, and say that you can't say this and you can't say that.
Did you get much cut?
Well, everything originally we had to, we basically we then had to rewrite a whole new thing. And I remember at the time when we did the Champion show in England, Ant and Dec were hosting the show.
Yep.
Two, fabulous double act from the UK, been around forever. And one of them had just got hammered and crashed their car. And I wanted to make some jokes about that. And they said, oh, no, you can't do that. And I think we managed to squeeze a couple in about the royal family, but even that was, because I think old Prince, who was the Queen's...
Andrew?
Philip.
Oh.
Philip, he'd crashed a car not long before then too.
Ah, yeah.
So they let us do a little bit of stuff on that, but they go through every word.
And then they chopped our setup and took out my first joke, which was a bit disappointing. That's the price you pay. So I had a killer first joke, and they just edited that joke out. And then all our banter after the the show.
Yeah, we had some great stuff with the judges talking to Dave.
Who were the judges?
David Williams from Little Britain was one of the judges, and we had some great banter with him. I can't even remember. Oh, Simon Cowell was one of the judges. I can't remember if we gave him a bit of a
And a heavily pregnant
Mel B?
No, Mel B wasn't there. There was a couple of singers. I can't remember their names, but...
if you sign up for that sort of thing, you really are at the mercy of...
You have
because they
no
need
rights.
they could have made you look like a villain.
Correct.
Like they need like that poor bloke. Remember the Aussie comedian that had the big teeth and he got done for...
Evan Hopping.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, they got knocked out against Nunawading.
Did you get cast for one of those talent shows? Did you?
Yeah. They said your teeth aren't straight enough. They're too yellow. Yeah, we're going with this guy.
No, I remember the guy, yeah. And the guy you're talking about, he was just using all old jokes from other people, and he come on and did a killer set, and then they said, no, you've got to do your own stuff.
Yeah,
and he'd come back the next time, and they... I don't know whether they made him look stupid or he just looked stupid anyway.
Yeah, that was tough. I really felt for that guy. God,
Yeah.
They made him look bad when he came on that second time.
Have you ever thought about going on any of those shows, Tommy?
I don't think I have a single joke that doesn't involve end with a hand job. I've got one example. I won't do it, but I wrote a joke. I did it the last festival, and I was really happy with it, clean as a whistle. And a week before I performed, I was like, tell you what, if at the end we talk about the size of the kid's dick, that does do it. And I just added this fucking dick joke on at the end of it, and it was unusable.
Anywhere.
That's where my mind goes, unfortunately.
Yeah. We did another show in America. We did a show called The World's Best, and it was for CBS, and it was a rip-off of all the Got Talent formats that everyone else had done.
Yep.
And they flew us over there. They flew all these acts in from around the world. Drew Barrymore, RuPaul, I can't remember who else was the other host. But same again, we went over, spent a week in the clubs. The lawyer come through, ripped our set apart. We ended up filming our spot, and then after 3 weeks, I think they must have spent $100 million on this TV show, getting it all organised. After 3 weeks, they axed the show, and we never saw ourselves on telly anyway.
That's fucked, isn't it?
Yeah,
Good holiday, though.
Yeah, it was a great holiday.
Yeah. I went to Cuba afterwards. It was great.
Yeah, but they made us share a room. We turn up at the hotel, and we're doing this
Bunk
massive
beds?
production. No bunk beds. We're doing this massive production for CBS. Oh, who was hosting it? What's his name? He's the English guy who has had a Tonight Show. James Corden.
James
Corden was the host. And so we're doing this big production. We turn up. I don't know how old we were, 33, 34, and go to check in at the hotel, and they go, right, you guys are sharing room 1650. I'm like, hang on, what are you talking about? We're here doing
superstars.
TV
We're the world's
in
best.
Hollywood. Yeah, we're the world's best. I want my
We're
own
from
room.
Australia.
Yeah, and they're like, no, sorry, there's no room.
And there was another one. Did you guys do a show where they would try, because you were twins, identical twins, that they get you to do two things and try them two different ways?
Oh, that was a pilot with Steve Bedwell.
No, we
Steve
did the...
Betters.
No. Tom's talking about the show we did for National Geographic, the science series.
Oh, the science
How to Win
show.
at Everything, which is thanks for bringing that up, Tom. That show is still around. You can watch it every episode, 1 to 16, on Ethiopian Airlines in-flight entertainment.
Jump on.
Yeah, because I had
No
a
wonder
mate-
the planes are going down
yeah,
so much.
Yeah, well, that's I figure if your plane's going down and you're looking for a little bit of entertainment in the last 2 minutes of your life, flick on How to Win at Everything. So, yeah, we shot that in London for National Geographic, and to be honest, I thought I was going to be the next David Attenborough.
Yep.
I thought, this is it. We've
Because it
done
was a
it.
great idea for a show. wasn't
Great
it?
idea for a show. And
So,
I'm
so
surprised.
they'd pick something, and you would both do it differently and work out
Yeah.
the best way to do it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Experiments, using twins, and
Yeah.
see what works best. For example, one of us had abseiled down a building front, one of us backways, which is quicker, that sort of stuff. That was the more entertaining stuff. There were, we were cutting up pieces of chocolate and opening cans of drink. I mean, there was some ordinary stuff in there. I remember we did a swimming one. We turned up at this pool in London to film a couple of different strokes of swimming.
Yep.
And they'd organised this ex-Russian Olympian to turn up there to run us through it all. And I think it was Helga or something or other.
and she had 2 days of training installed for us to do. So
Yeah,
that we
she
could
was like,
film.
all right,
Yeah, wow.
we're going to warm up. I want you to do 1,500 metres in the pool. And I was like,
Gives a
hang
break.
on a minute, aren't you just filming like 10 metres of breaststroke or whatever? And also, it was, this is on your Patreon, so
Yep.
Yeah.
back then when we were filming it, I was hammered every day that we were filming that series. So, yeah, I was-
Drinking or smoking?
Oh, just smoking hooch flat out, doing a National Geographic. No wonder Attenborough was pissed
It's
off
natural.
at me.
It's
Yeah,
natural.
yeah.
It grows in the
Yeah,
ground.
Yeah. Oh man, I was just.
The worst thing is, though, you got me on it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I had Juzzo on the old puff puff give as well.
Well, that could have been one. Could have had you smoking pot and you smoking methamphetamine.
Yeah,
or something.
just to see what
Or
what
a
the
joint
result.
in a bong.
Yeah, joint and bong, and having one jerking off with Vass, one with moisturiser.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
really.
We could have taken the show to another level.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I
I
can't
don't know
even-
why we didn't get a second series.
Yeah, I can't even believe we got the series up in the first place because we filmed the pilot in Sydney, and one of the experiments they got us to do was to spin a basketball on our finger.
Yep.
And after half a day of trying to work it out, we couldn't do it, and they just put it in post-production. They just had us put the finger up, and then they just put a ball on it and span it, and then they sent it off to London to Nat Geo to go, well, this is what we've got. And a couple of months later, they're like, yeah, we'll do the series. I couldn't believe it.
Couldn't spin a basketball.
Couldn't spin a basketball on the finger. And then when we were over there filming, there were a couple of segments that they had to scrap because we couldn't do it. We turn up in London and walk in, and they've got
the stand-up bit.
they've got yeah.
That was a joke.
Look, this story needed a bit of kick, so you've added it. Yeah. No, we turn up in London and they've got 2 unicycles in the corner of the room, and they go, learn how to ride this by Friday. Yeah, 2
I can't
different.
spin a basketball on my finger.
No, and so
righto.
they took us to what's that big park? Hyde Park. And one of the unicycles was a massive, big, tall one. The other one was smaller. And they go, righto, off you go. You've got a day now to learn this, and we'll film it tomorrow. Well, we couldn't even get on the damn thing. And then another one, we turn up to a place called Stratford upon Avon. Now, do you guys know anything about Stratford upon Avon?
No, I do
No.
not.
It's where Shakespeare was from.
Ah.
And there is a guy there who owns a gondola.
I thought it was American.
No, Shakespeare was English, and there's a guy there with a gondola, those gondolas you have in Venice. I think it might be the only one in England, and we had to turn up there and do a couple of different strokes of how they drive these gondolas. Well, the people in Venice who drive them take years to perfect it, and they go,
Yeah.
right, well, in 2 hours we're going to film, so you better go out there and learn. And we were so bad at it that in the end, the director come over and he said, hey, what we're going to do to just spice this up a bit is can one of you just fall out of the boat at the end of the segment? And, yeah, it was like, right, and we're in the middle of winter. Yeah, look, if it's gonna give this thing some kick, we'll do it. Yeah, for some reason it was me, and
So 'cause they
yeah.
got the big stick. Like, how deep's the water? Like, 'cause
Well, you can't touch the bottom.
Yeah, and you've got to angle it in ways that to
Yeah.
turn the boat in whatever
Well, it's
direction.
hard enough driving a boat with a fucking steering wheel.
That's right.
Let alone using a bloody pole vault.
Yeah, they just I just went arse over tit out of the boat, and that was the segment. I don't know if it ever made it. I've never watched the series, but
Did you ever blue with the producers and stuff? Ever not get on well with the?
no, they were great.
No.
They were fantastic.
No, we just did as we were told.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but no season number 2, unfortunately.
No.
Yeah.
And you did some other stuff for Pepsi. You've done a bit of travelling.
Well, we have. Yeah, we've done
Through
a bit. Yeah,
and
we
get-
did.
you know,
We've
got
never
paid-
managed to get anything to stick though.
No.
No.
A lot of the ads that we've done have all been twin cliche stuff. That's why they hire us to do it. It's a 2 for 1, 50% off. Just tap into that twin cliche market.
But I think that's the world we live in, and it's not a job. It's a heap of little different thing. You know what I mean? Like it's you're not just a comedian anymore. You do all these podcasts and all this different shit. So
Yeah. And one regret I have, we did a lot of ads back before social media became prominent, and we made a bit of dough, but I wish I'd have put some of that money aside back then. I would be like, right, I'm going to buy a motorbike. I'm going overseas
For the village.
on holidays for a month.
Yeah.
Well, all you have to do is
I've
look
got to
at
pay my dowry.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember you went through stages where you boys were fucking. I'd post something on social. Oh, you can't do that. We're the face of. You know,
Well, I remember someone
adult
I reckon
nappies or something.
We were at a gig in Shepparton once,
Yeah.
and we were about to drive through the Macca's drive-through in reverse.
In a car, yeah.
And we were doing car insurance ads at the time.
Yeah, I was hammered. I was hammered and just
that was
driving.
that was in their pot phase.
Yeah.
We
No,
go,
I
I
was
don't think it's a
hammered.
good idea.
And, yeah, Justin, go through the drive-through in reverse. Yeah, hang on, we're doing car insurance ads at the moment. Yeah.
Fuck, we did that at Wodonga once. Remember
Yeah.
Wodonga had they probably all have a sharp turn, and we got fucking caught up the back wheel. The moment we had to turn, we got caught up on, and the wheel was spinning in the and my mates all fucking bolted out of the car. I was like, you motherfuckers! And I'm just stuck in the fucking drive-through, and they all had to come out and lift us out. All the cars had to back out. It was fucking
Well, some of them, they're making them tighter and tighter. Some
Yeah.
of them you got to turn. You almost need one of those bloody special arms to reach out and grab your bloody food. They're tight these days.
The only time I ever go through the Macca's drive-through is if my son wants something. I don't ever,
it's dog
on
shit.
my own
It's
accord,
shit.
say, I might go to the Macca's drive-through and get myself something wholesome and
We've spoken
nutritious.
about a number. It used to feel like at least there was a bit of, they put a bit of pride in. Now they fucking basically throw your fucking shit in the car. They don't even
It
fold
is.
up the bag or anything like that.
It is so fucked. And they are filthy. I told a story. If you listen to the pod, you would have heard it.
No, I don't
Went
listen to
it. Went recently, and there was a human shit in the playground. And I went and told them. I said, someone's taking a shit in the playground. And they were like, oh, gross. And they did nothing.
No.
Absolutely nothing. It's a hellhole.
Oh, man.
Anyway, so how long did we plan on? Because you guys are doing your thing after this, aren't you?
I don't know
Well,
what we're
I don't know
doing.
if we
We
don't
were
have to.
hoping to get
Just
enough.
keep doing this.
We were hoping to get enough funny stuff out of this so that we wouldn't have to do anything later, but we're going to be here all fucking day.
No,
But weren't you part of the? Wasn't I just tacking on to the end of?
Nah, you guys took over.
no. Yeah, we
That's all good.
Kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
While we're filming, we may as well do a Patreon because there's no way. Well, you're 3 minutes from home.
Yeah.
Everything revolves
So we're
around
not
you.
stopping and then.
Nah, we'll just keep going.
Okay.
Because you blokes though, I know gigging with you boys doing a few road trips. There's been times where it's been a bit tense between you blokes.
It has.
And,
Yeah,
you've-
we haven't punched on for
No.
a number of years
Yeah,
now
you
though.
see. No. You see, when was the last time you blued each other?
I reckon maybe 7 or 8 years
Yeah.
ago.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're growing up.
Yeah, we're growing up. Yeah,
Yeah.
we had to put a stop to it. Yeah, I couldn't just keep running to the shed and getting Dad's chainsaw and going, I'm going to fucking cut this guy up. What'd he do? I can't remember.
When you fight, are you similar fighters? Like I fucking know what he's doing here.
Well,
I used to win all the time.
Yeah.
Look down the barrel of the camera and
yeah,
just...
I've copped a fair few hidings. Yeah, hence why I've got a few concussion issues from a young age.
Yeah, so
Yeah. But I won the last one.
Justin won the last one. So Justin's beaten me twice. The first time, we were 15 years old. I had a broken leg and I was on crutches, and he's gone, I'm going to cash in here. And I remember I was at the kitchen bench, and Justin's come in probably without too much of a preamble, much warning, and just dropped me like a bag of shit. And of course, nothing I could do. I could hardly get up off the ground.
And the second time, the last time I bet you were stoned off your nuts. So
I was picked your battles.
Yeah, and I
real well.
And I was 3 months post knee reconstruction from that footy game, I think. Yeah. So once I went down, I wasn't getting up. Yeah.
Oh, you're only as good as your last fight.
Well, that's it. Yeah. And I ended up in hospital. Justin's girlfriend dropped me off at the emergency department.
From the fight?
Yeah, from the fight.
My
eye. Oh, my eye. I thought I was going to lose my eye there for a minute.
We've still got 3 good eyes between us, though.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah, and so I dropped off at the emergency department. And it's pretty bad when you go up to the triage desk and they say, yep, you just come straight through. Anything with an eye. And I don't know if it's policy or what it is, but they must ask you what went on, and because maybe they have to file a police report if they think anything's happened, and they're saying, well, what happened here? And I was hardly going to dob my brother in for beating the shit out of him. So
well, if you gave him a photo, they might have arrested you.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah,
they're looking for this guy.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah. And so the nurse, the doctor, they all kept asking. I was like, listen, I was climbing a ladder, I fell down, and they go, well, this is quite an abnormal injury to have for climbing a ladder. Listen, that's what it is. And they juiced me up with some painkillers. The eye specialist coming out to look. I think they glued something in there, checked the inside of the eye, it was all good. And
you haven't messed with me since?
No. But we decided from that point on that it was counterproductive.
You're going to live in different states.
Well, yeah. We live in different states. Justin's Victoria, I'm Queensland. I'm thinking about moving to New Guinea, though. I think that'll get me far enough away. But we decided it was counterproductive if we do that. So, I don't know, 7-8 years ago, we just went, right,
So you actually said that?
It was, because we'd had lots of punch-ons. We had one on our way up to visit Nan once, and we're driving. We're driving up the mountain, and you always stop at the top of the mountain to have a piss. In those days, have a cigarette. Well, we decided as we were driving up, right, we're going to have this out
because you were just
nudging each other, niggling each other in the car on the way, right, that's it. And that's how we used to do it, generally speaking, is we'd always say, right, let's go out and sort it out. So we get to the top of the gap, Justin and I get out, punch on, we're on the side of a hill.
Yeah, we rolled down the hill into the blackberries.
and we come back up and Justin's shirt has just been torn to shreds. And
I had no
shirt left, So we turn up at me nan's for the midday meal, and we walk in, and Justin's got no shirt on, and me nan's like, well, what's going on here? Nan, don't ask.
Picture people driving past.
They were tooting.
Just the conversation. Even when you get back in the car, what's the...
that fixed the problem. We would always shake hands afterwards and go, well, that's it.
It's actually pretty impressive.
Yeah. And there was another...
Couldn't talk it out in the first place.
Well, true, yeah. Oh, our poor mum. The old man would always go, just go outside and sort it out. And a lot of the time, sometimes it'd just kick off in the lounge room, and my poor mum would be like, boys!
Mum was more of a referee than a mother, wouldn't she?
Yeah.
Just being the same age as well. Like, my brother, he's just so much younger than me. I couldn't belt the shit out of him. He was just... He was tiny when I was...
He could flog the shit out of him.
He could. He could. Yeah. Well, he smacked me after the bloody... first live podcast you did. I'm just sitting there having a chat to the Baroni boys and you. I just copped this fucking haymaker in the back of the head.
He wasn't happy with something.
I don't know. No, I think Balls and me mate said just go whack him. So he said, "Fucking oath, all right." Get me back for all the times I smashed the shit out of him.
I had 4 sisters, so my win loss wasn't too bad.
Yeah. Are they all older?
One younger.
Yeah.
With that many sisters. You weren't sure with your mates whether they were
banging
true
them.
mates or just trying to root your sisters.
Yeah. I seem to have a lot of friends.
A bit of column B, I think.
Yeah. Everyone wants to come around for a pool party.
Yeah, didn't find out till later that a couple got through Seagate security.
You're like the Swedish security.
I thought I kept them away, but found out on the piss a few years later.
Yeah.
But what about any of their friends? There would have been a few of their friends that you were pretty keen on?
The older sisters had a couple of
Jesus.
smoke shows all us boys were have our little erections over.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. Well, you'd have been in the game back then.
With hair.
With hair and
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Bloody hell. So I grew up with reading not punching on with brothers. I grew up reading
Dolly, Doctor.
My mates used to always love coming around. We had a massive stack of Dolly magazines. And
Yep.
that Dolly Doctor would talk about, the nipples and thrush and crabs and it was
All the stuff that gets you hard.
Yeah. Oh, fuck, how good's this? And there was always the sealed section. You'd fucking chisel it open and it'd be picture of a droopy African tit or something. You'd be like, well, it's something.
It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's times.
I think different. Tom, Justin, myself all grew up in the country, and we were even more remote. Although you were Yakandanda, small town for a while,
Yep.
we lived in small towns. Hocko, you grew up in the city,
Suburbs.
Suburbs. Yeah,
Yeah,
you could get on the
out in
train, go to the
Mooroolbark.
footy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and just even a big day out was going to Ringwood to Eastland, going to the big shopping centre there. That
Mate.
was oof.
When we were kids, the family holiday, we went on 2 family holidays, and that was to Frankston, to Mum's friend's house.
Yeah, and Dad didn't even come.
And Dad would never come.
Hated
Yeah,
the big
Dad would
smoke.
stay home and have
Well,
a
neither
massive
would Mum.
bender on the booze, and Mum took us to Frankston to go on holidays. That's what it was as a kid.
Because I remember coming down and we used to go to the footy. You used to come down the Hume Highway and you would have to go down, was it Melbourne Road, all the way to the
Sydney Road.
Sydney
Yeah.
Road, sorry, all the way,
Different state.
all the
Yeah,
way
you're
to
close.
I just got the wrong end. You would have to go all the way to the city. It was down Sydney Road. And fuck, it used to take a long time. Like there was no ring road or no highway. You'd just be stuck there in traffic. Oh, fuck, we hate Melbourne. Yeah.
Well, we never got to go to the footy. That was
No.
you just didn't do it.
Was that, and all those remember before those big highways came out, you'd be just going through all those towns. You'd have to drop down to 60 through every fucking town.
Well, that was great for our old man because he called into every pub.
Yeah.
Wherever we went.
You just didn't go far from home in those days. We spent a lot of time, when we lived at Walbundry, we spent a lot of time down the Billabong, which was this dirty water. It was disgusting. You'd end up getting sick from it at least twice a
And
summer.
leeches? Did it have leeches?
There were no leeches,
Oh, I
but
remember leeches were fucking terrifying.
yeah, no, we never had any leeches, but we just looked for things to do to amuse ourselves. We'd jump out of trees. There was a point where we started throwing rocks at each other just for something to do.
Yeah.
Not realise. If someone copped it in the eye, that would have been it. For a small point in time there, we were taking a shit in the creek and then throwing it at each other.
yeah, nice.
Yeah, that's how bored we were back in the 90s. Yeah. What are we going to do? Hey, what about we shit in our own hand and throw it at each other?
You wonder why kids are on their phones so much
Yeah,
these days.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe technology's not so bad after. Yeah, back in our day, we used to throw human shit at each other.
Yeah.
Kids,
Well, that was like we were on a footy trip in 2010 in Darwin, and one of the blokes just said, "Mate, hey Billy, if you, what do you say?" He
We'll
said,
beep his name out.
Nah, fuck that. He goes, "Mate, if you drink a pot of your own piss, I'll eat a nugget of my own shit." You know,
Jesus.
couldn't we?
Don't know who's the winner there.
There's no winners in that.
Oh,
No.
I'm glad we're
Nah.
filming this. Tom's horrified. Those last 2 stories.
Yeah, just never heard anything like that. But we're still. Did he eat the shit?
No, he tried. Well, we went out, and it's like 35 degrees. He's pissed into a schooner, Billy, and I go, he's fucking gonna, because he was this timid sort of dude, and you're like, there's no way he's gonna do this. And I remember just going, Billy, you gotta ice it up. You're no chance of getting it down. If it's
smart.
and he went out
Always
into
the voice of reason.
Went out. Well, I was the captain. I thought, mate, I've got to show some leadership here. Like, mate, you got to put some ice in it. You're no chance of getting this
On the rocks, mate, on the
schooner of
rocks.
piss down if you don't cool it down. So then we're out in this car park at this pub at like 10 in the morning, and he's like, and he just goes, woo, woo. He sort of took 2 gulps, and he say, fuck. And Warney, who dared him, he goes, fuck, I'm a bit worried here. If he gets this down, I'm going to eat a nugget of my own shit. And then he sort of got through that much, and then it just came back up. And he goes,
I've said at our club, people would regularly scull a pint of urine and Mad Monday and that. And it was like it was nothing. It was quite a big thing. For
Well, you're
them.
allowed to do it though. It's good. It's actually healthy, isn't it?
Oh,
I mean,
Why a
I'm not
pint?
sure that-
I mean, if you were going to do it, wouldn't you just ask for a 7 or a pot glass? Why would you, I'll have a pint?
yeah, pint of piss. It just sounds better. Yeah,
But if you've
It
got to
rolls
that
off the tongue.
stage it was usually, you're a good 48 hours in.
Yeah.
So you're basically just pissing
Booze.
at
Clear.
booze. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's clear as a day. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not your morning piss on a Tuesday morning before you go to work.
We've got Oscar who's filming this, so I hope you're excited about the footy club gig you're doing with us.
Yeah. How old are you,
Saturday,
Oscar?
mate.
25. Yeah, so you sort of missed all that. It's debauchery, it was back in
Footy
the
clubs
day.
have changed a lot. Probably
Yeah.
for the better, I would
I don't
say.
know that Oscar's missed it. I think he's probably just a decent human.
Well, that's true. But you think some of the stuff you did, if you put that, lucky social, you get a few views on some of the stuff. Some of the stuff you did back in the day. But, yeah.
And
so-
what have we got coming up? Are we on the road together anywhere? We're going to Cairns.
Cairns, we're heading up there. So that'll be, still got to try.
Hocko and the
a few
Nelson
more
twins
gigs
in Cairns, end of August, I believe. And
Yeah.
then
Are you doing
Tommy-
that club that we did after?
No.
different gigs. But Hocko and us are then cruising on to Bali. We're off to Bali for 4 days
Still haven't
after
told
that.
the missus yet.
Yeah.
To do some
Oh,
gigs?
right.
No, I haven't told her. Oh, she
Yeah.
doesn't listen to it. She doesn't listen to the
my
regular
wife's good with it.
podcast.
I've already said we're in Cairns. We're going to Bali for a couple of days. You guys haven't let
I haven't
No,
mentioned
not
it.
yet. I
Not-
haven't
not
mentioned it yet.
yet.
I'll mention it a couple of days beforehand.
Yeah, well,
Maybe just say you're going camping or something. we won't go there.
it'll be great. We might try and see if we can get a gig there.
I've been trying to tee up a gig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you were doing a gig.
Well, we're trying.
We're trying to
trying.
get one there, but we're going anyway. Flights are booked. We're going to Bali anyway. We're going to try and get a gig. There's loads of Aussies over there. Surely we can round 100 of them up to come in and watch a show.
Well, you've got
Gaz.
We got his
That's
bar.
who we're trying to.
Yeah, Rowan
set it up with.
Gazzard, he does have a couple of bars over there, but also too, I'm happy to do a gig, but I'm also happy to holiday and just chill out and sit by the pool, read a book, have a couple of beers.
I'm not sure if you're reading the room like me, but I reckon you might be going by yourself. Just quiet. As an outsider looking in, and the way they
Do you think
answered,
that'd worry him, Tom?
No.
That'd worry
Yeah.
him in the
Yeah.
slightest.
Spent.
Have you ever been to any of those Southeast Asian countries? You don't look like a Southeast Asian country kind of guy, Timmy.
I spent a lot of time in Mexico. I know
Yeah.
that's not Asia, but it's still
Yeah, look, geographically.
Antarctica.
yeah.
No, but I think you're meaning that sort of.
You know, the
that sort of
Thailand,
vibe,
Bali,
that
sort of the hand crank sort of vibe.
Oh well, I went on our honeymoon.
Yeah.
Where'd you go on your honeymoon?
Oh fuck, I don't know where I was. We were in.
Geography is not Tom's
we're
strong
This
point.
is what
Names.
you're going to be dealing with, mate. Saturday
Memory.
night. Keep
We're
it
in.
simple.
We're in Thailand. I don't know where the fuck we were.
You were in Thailand. Did you fly into Bangkok or Phuket or? I think they're the only two places you can fly into direct. Maybe
I
Koh
don't know.
Samui from Singapore or something, but
I don't know.
you don't know. Well, sometimes that's the fun part about a holiday is not knowing where
Not
you
knowing.
were.
Yeah, Tam organised it all, but it was
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah.
Been to Bali when I was younger. I was meant to be going to Bali for the Bali Nines. Had a heap
Yep.
of gigs lined up, and they fucking pulled the pin there. That
Pulled
was a
the pin.
bloody dog's
Did you get a
breakfast.
deposit?
No. No, didn't get a deposit.
There's a theme running throughout here.
Yeah, I've got to start getting a deposit.
Get the deposit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, if you're not going for the Bali Nines, why don't you come over with us? Why don't you come and meet us over in Bali?
No,
Do they have any
I'll just
Bunnings?
stay in Australia like these two, I think.
Yeah. Do they have any Bunnings? Is there a Bunnings in Bali? Maybe you could swing it for a work trip. They don't have a Bunnings, do they?
No, I don't think. I don't know where they buy their shit over there. They have
Yeah.
little hardware stores.
Why don't you come over? Come over and check it out.
It'd be over a weekend.
We're flying on
No,
a
it's
technically
Sunday,
we're flying on a
Sunday.
Sunday night. That's
Yeah.
still the weekend. You'd have to have, and then we're back on the Thursday. So you'd
Yeah.
have to have 3 or 4 days. You've got some Patreon listeners. Why don't they come over as well
We do a
and do a
podcast.
Well,
podcast
that's what
over
the
there?
Little Dum Dum Club holds a big holiday.
They do.
Yeah, you guys, you've got to take it up a notch and get your Patreon on a trip over to
Yeah, I think-
Denpasar.
I reckon, no offence to Little Dum Dum, but I reckon our listeners have got a bit more going on in their lives than the Little Dum Dum listeners.
Well,
reckon
I mean
our
that's
listeners-
debatable because I think all their listeners are in Koh Samui at the moment doing a podcast.
No, I think they did do
No,
it. Yeah, they've done it.
No, that's what I mean. Like, they've got no mates. No, I'm dead fucking serious.
yeah.
If someone asks them to go to Bali, they're like, oh, wow.
fucking oath.
And they
Yeah,
and
we've
they're
got
like,
nothing
oh,
else
let's go.
going on. They're
We'll have
sitting
like
in
a
their
community.
basement looking at their laptop, going, "Oh yeah, I think I got a free week there."
If you ask our listeners, they'll be like, I might go with
family.
our actual mates. I think if I ever go to Bali. No, I'm serious. That's why it's so.
God, we're treading a fine line here. I don't think Carl and Tommy are listening to your Patreon, but I mean, Carl's great. We always get loads of gigs off Carl, so
Yeah, heaps.
yeah. I know you boys don't, but
No.
Carl, if you listen, we love you, mate, and keep those gigs coming.
No, he blacklisted me for doing a
China Asian
an
accent.
Asian accent, and I was doing it ironically in a joke that I believe had a clever twist on it.
In a Chinese restaurant.
And he...
Yeah,
and
it ended
he
with
goes, no.
a kid getting jerked off.
Yeah.
That'll be funny if the kid gets a hand job.
Yeah, maybe we should add that at the end. And I was on the same, like there was people talking about fucking rape and all this other shit. I was like, fucking hell. And
You got blacklisted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got-
Did the
You
joke
got
get a laugh?
blacklisted? No.
The joke always got a laugh.
Yeah.
It always got a laugh. And I've tried to do it different ways to soften.
Can you
soften
run
the
us?
blow.
Do the joke. Do the joke on the Patreon. It's the Patreon.
It's the Patreon. Mate, I haven't done it for a while because
Because it keeps getting you kicked out of rooms.
Carl,
He's getting banned from all the Asian bakeries.
Carl.
Because it's a...
You talk amongst yourself.
Because it's
I heard a comedian do a gig on Friday. He did a China Asian.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, that Marty Fields has got some. He does the voice thing.
Yeah,
It is
yeah.
a bit
And
weird.
you're
when you
always
do
treading
the
a
Asian
fine
accent.
line.
Yeah, I've got it.
You got it?
So basically, I would say I don't think I'm racist, but I do have a bad habit that could sometimes be perceived as being racist. For example, when I'm talking to someone with an accent, so this is the original version. I softened it since, but this is the original version. When I'm talking to someone with an accent, without even meaning it, I automatically start speaking in that accent, and that always got a little bit of a laugh. I said, for example, just the other day I was on the phone about a local Chinese restaurant, and you hear this, and I would pick up the phone and I go, and I sort of do it like I'm trying to, hello, could I please have free dim sim, special fried rice, and wonton soup, and that gets a laugh.
That doesn't even sound Asian. It just sounds
I know.
mentally
And
retarded.
it's fry rye.
Fry
Yeah,
rye.
yeah, yeah. You don't
and
pronounce
that's
trying.
Yeah.
and that would
trying.
get a laugh, which it wasn't intended. And then it sort of dies down. I go, but I didn't feel that bad because the Chinese guy at the other end, he had the same bad habit. And then I'd pretend to be him. I was like, yeah, no worries, mate. I'll drop it off in and I'll bring you change for a pineapple. See you soon, cobber. And I go, I speak to your manager, you racist bastard.
Yeah.
Which I think is a clever enough
Yeah,
twist
yeah.
that it's...
Yeah.
It's just the old swapsy.
Carl think
Yeah.
no. Carl think no.
Yeah. it's a fine
No more
line.
gig for you.
Yeah.
No more gig 1 year.
Yeah.
1 year.
It's a
You
fine
not do
line.
spleen. You not wait for 8 hours to do 3-minute spot.
You come sign up, mate. You come sign up, mate.
It's a fine line to tread, but it's interesting because Justin does a lot of talking about my wife, if you're not familiar, from Thailand. But my wife is great. She's got such a great sense of humour. She loves it. And
You never see her.
well, yeah.
Well, she doesn't really understand the joke.
No,
No.
she does. Sometimes you
And
have
she
to.
doesn't go to your gigs.
No,
So
no.
she doesn't know.
She's
She
at
doesn't
home
mean
looking
shit
after the
can
young
her.
fella.
Yeah,
Well, she's
Well,
not
I'm-
home. She's in Korea at the
Which,
moment.
yeah, she's on holidays at the moment.
Because a lot of the gigs are at licensed venues and she's not old enough to go.
She gets asked for ID.
No, she looks 11.
Yeah, she does. Yeah, she's
She's 10.
36, but
Yeah.
yeah,
She's 36.
my wife's
Asians do
36.
not age, do
yeah,
they?
and during the
No, they don't.
when we were getting out of the pandemic and things were starting to open up again, we went to this circus. We took my son to the circus,
Yeah.
and kids got in free, and adults had to pay $10. And we're all wearing masks, and I had my wife and son, and I said, "Hey,
Two
make sure
kids.
that mask is up." And when we go in, I'm like, "Oh, yep, just one adult, 2 kids. Yep, no worries, bang, in you go." Yeah, got my wife in for free. Yeah.
Also got arrested for banging her in the car park.
I was going to go hand job in the front row or something. I was too.
But my wife absolutely loves the sense of humour, and I'll tell her the jokes that Justin's written. And the thing is, the Thais have got a good sense of humour, but there are certain things in Thailand you don't talk about. You don't talk about the government, their comedy, they don't talk about sexual innuendo. And that's the thing my wife loves about Australia, is that you can get up and shit on the Prime Minister for half an hour and free speech, nothing happens to you. So she loves that sense of freedom that you get, and
I would
loves
think the sexual innuendo,
Well, their economy is built on it.
For a country like Thailand where a lot of that stuff happens, but you don't talk about it in the public eye. Yeah, it's because I've seen a bit of Thai stand up, and it's all a lot of slapstick stuff, and it's the same with China. Justin and I have been to China and seen performance in China as well, and it's a lot of that old school stuff where you throw your arm over, the person ducks under it, and there's a boing, there's a sound effect. Yeah. So
apparently that's why Carl doesn't. He shut his room over there because everyone was doing Asian accents.
Yeah.
He's like,
you guys are great. You guys are great. God, it's a fine line for me. I still want to do Carl's rooms, and my wife's Asian, and I've got you guys.
We're talking again, Carl and I. Maybe not if this leaks in it.
Yeah.
We're having fun.
Yeah.
I'm sure we've copped a posting on their Patreon.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But they haven't even fucking thought about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah,
Well, it's been good. How long have we been going here for, gents?
I forgot. I've still got my son over in the corner.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
got to. I've got to head off in a sec.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think. How long's that been going for?
No, I don't know.
It's an hour.
I've got 30 minutes of battery left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if we can't get a
be
good
something out of
Patreon
that. Can't get something out
episode,
of
a
that.
couple of
Well,
little clips
It's
out
an
of this.
excellent Patreon episode.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's great. So,
How many listeners have you got on the Patreon?
I think it's about 120.
Oh, that's good.
Trying to jump on for free, and they realise you get fuck all.
Yeah. What
I'm
does
a
it
proud-
cost?
I'm a
You're a
proud member.
Patreon member.
Yeah. So
It's
I think it took. He'd been signed up for a year. I think it took him about 11 months to actually listen to something. He
Yeah,
goes,
well-
I'm just supporting you boys.
Yeah.
just got going. And
what's
the
it cost you
Lawrence-
per month?
I think it's $8.20
It's
or something. Is it?
$8.50.
Yeah.
$8.50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you see within the Patreon what things have been listened to and watched?
Some of it.
Something
Yeah.
How many views? And
I mean, there's probably statistics I could probably get into, but I don't know how to work that out. But
Yep.
any of the Oscar, we might have to. Oh, was that the burp? Yeah. Yeah.
$8.20. Is that the standard?
$8.50.
$8.50. Is that the standard these days of what people are paying per month? Because I listened to a lot of history stuff, and I always thought they were like $1, $2. So maybe you're a bit pricey. Maybe you're pricing people out at $8.20.
50. $8.50. Yeah. I can't say $8.50.
You need to take it down to $8.20.
$8.20.
Yeah.
It's that 30 cents.
It's killing people, mate.
It's killing
in this
people.
economic times.
Well, I think the free one's like $5.
The free one costs $5.
Yeah. So maybe I'm stitching people up.
which is quite a lot for a free. Free podcast.
I think people are onto us.
Do we have an option where you get nothing but you just want to donate?
I think that's the $5 one. Yeah.
Maybe
the
that's
free
too
one.
high.
So the free one costs $5, so you get nothing. So you just give.
But our listeners, like a lot of people, I don't think our listeners are generally podcast listeners because a few of them just hit us up and go, "What's this Patreon thing?" Or what's that? Where it's a big thing with podcasts.
Yeah.
And a few people have really trained them into how a podcast works and
No, you just need
We've got about 1,000 to 1,200 listeners.
Yeah.
So a month.
Yep. Yeah.
no,
pretty
an
good.
episode.
On episode, sorry.
Yeah.
Tom.
Numbers aren't the best with you guys. Who runs all that stuff?
I run all this, mate. I run this. I'll edit. Well, I won't have to edit anything out of this. I do it all. So I'm going to teach Tom he wants to join up to the Good Banter Instagram page.
Oh yeah.
He can't run his own Instagram, but
Yeah.
he's going to get onto this. So
No, it's all happening.
yeah.
It's all happening.
Yeah. Well, Thanks
Yeah,
for
guys,
coming in,
thanks
boys.
for-
Thanks
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Bloody great.
And I hope you've enjoyed the Yellow Jackets. I don't know, has it given you a bit of superpower?
I've always wondered what they were made of, and it's clearly not cotton. I'm sweating like this. There's not a lot of breathing. It's not breathing.
No. Well,
Where'd
you
you
try
get these from? Queen Vic Market? Or
Queen Vic Markets. You try wearing them in the Middle East or something, doing comedy when it's 40 degrees and you're wearing a yellow
Are you
jacket.
still wearing them?
Yeah. Yeah.
Depends on the gig, doesn't it? If it's a bit more corporate.
Oh,
yeah.
occasionally,
occasionally,
occasionally, if we're doing a real corporate, we'll wear a suit. But we prefer 99% of the time we're in the yellow jackets. It's
Could you
just
sell the yellow jackets?
we could, I guess.
What are you paying for them?
They're up to about $26 now.
Are they
I
that
think.
much
Yeah.
now? They start $10. We used to get them for. We've had hundreds of them over the years, and we've still got probably 20 in the cupboard at home.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not sure what those ones smell like because we retire them after a certain amount of time. Nah,
Better than Seagett's suburban football jumper.
Oh, it is
Yeah.
fucking sick.
It's rank.
yeah. Well, I suppose, do you wash it or you can't? It'd fall apart if you washed it.
Every month or so, and it just stinks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty. And the socks, don't wash the socks.
Yeah. Has hygiene become an issue? Has hygiene?
Wish I could find a way around it.
Yeah. Is hygiene an issue with Tammy at home at all? With the way you?
You're in separate beds.
Separate beds last night. Thanks to little Paddy, he was in my bed.
Yes.
Well, this has been
All right,
fun.
thanks,
been
boys.
good.
Yeah.
Thank you to
Come to a
thank you to
screeching halt
Oscar.
here. Yeah,
Yeah,
cheers,
thank
mate.
you. If you need a
We're down
podcast, get down to
the
McKinnon.
studio in McKinnon. Brilliant. Do you wrap it up with something to your
Yeah,
banditos?
we usually get the guests to take over and start doing that. So
Yeah. All right. You've
So
been
you-
listening to the Good Banter podcast with Tom Seagett and Evan Hocking. Thanks, Banditos.
That's
Yeah,
Bant,
that's
Bant.
Bantitos.
Banditos,
the-
couple of farts,
and
couple
the-
of burps,
And
and
the bikie gang, mate. They see if
and
Goodbye.
we're about to get knocked off.
we'll see you next time.
Good
Banter.
banter.